That attack was not a random act of cruelty. It was a failed audit. The exhaustion you feel, the sense of being watched, the constant need to defend your own life. This is the residue of a spiritual crime scene, one where a narcissist attempted to declare you bankrupt, but they miscalculated. They did not realize they were auditing a protected asset of the divine. The universe has seen their fraudulent books, and judgment is no longer pending. It is being executed. Like this video to anchor the energy of this verdict. Subscribe to join the collective of the vindicated. Comment 77 as the divine code that seals this judgment, and let this message replay in the background. It is a recalibration for your subconscious, saturating your spirit with the frequency of absolute victory. Chapter 1. The Invisible Ledger. There is a record of everything. This is not a metaphor, it is a fundamental law of the cosmos that operates with unknowing precision. For every action, there is an entry. For every word spoken against you, every psychic barb thrown in the dark, every calculated attempt to diminish your spirit, a line item was created in an invisible ledger. You have felt the weight of this ledger, without ever seeing its pages. You have carried it in your body, feeling it as an unexplainable fatigue that clung to you like a damp shroud, a sorrow that had no clear source, a tension in your jaw and shoulders that spoke of a battle being waged just beyond your physical sight. This chronic exhaustion was the interest accruing on a debt you did not incur. The mental fog was the psychic static generated by their fraudulent accounting. This was the burden of being the primary evidence in a divine audit. The narcissist, in their spiritual ignorance and arrogance, believed their attacks were untraceable. They thought their manipulations were clever whispers in the wind, their projections subtle enough to be mistaken for your own flaws. They were profoundly wrong. The universe does not operate on plausible deniability. It operates on energetic signatures, and theirs is smeared like crude oil over every entry of debt they created against you. Their signature is one of theft, of trying to siphon your light, your creativity, your peace, and claim it as their own. Each time they belittled a success of yours, they were attempting to forge your signature on a withdrawal slip from your divine account. Each time they gaslit you, they were trying to alter the records to make you believe the debt was yours to begin with. But the auditors of the cosmos are not so easily fooled. They are not beings that can be swayed or tricked. They are impersonal forces of cosmic law, like gravity or time. They see the source code of every transaction. They know the frequency of truth. And yours has been ringing like a pure, clear bell through all the noise and deception they generated. The pain you endured was the verification process, a cross-referencing of the accounts. The tears you shed were not a sign of weakness. They were sacred ink, marking each fraudulent entry with irrefutable proof of the harm done. Your isolation was not abandonment. It was the universe placing you in a secure vault while the evidence was compiled, protecting the integrity of the primary asset you. In the coming days you will begin to feel the ledger balancing in real time. This will not be a distant, abstract concept. It will be a visceral, physical experience. A sudden surge of energy will flow through you at an unexpected moment, perhaps while doing something mundane, like washing dishes, and it will feel like a dam breaking, a wave of vitality returning to your cells. This is the feeling of a debt being repaid. An opportunity you thought was lost will suddenly reappear, more potent and perfect than before, presented by a new person who values it as much as you do. This is an interest payment from the cosmos. You will hear a piece of news about the one who attacked you, news of struggle, confusion, or public exposure on their part. And you will feel not malice, but a quiet, profound sense of order being restored, like the final satisfying click of a lock falling into place. This is you feeling the weight of their column being transferred back to its rightful owner. The divine audit is not about punishment. It is about correction. It is the unassailable restoration of divine balance. They believed they were marking you down, devaluing you. In reality, every attack only increased the value of your testimony and magnified the crushing debt they would inevitably have to pay. The ledger is now being closed, the accounts settled. The weight is lifting not because the battle is over, but because the verdict has been rendered and your sacred name has been cleared, with absolute cosmic finality etched into the stars themselves. Chapter 2. The spiritual espionage. The narcissist who targeted you was not merely an adversary, they were an agent of spiritual espionage. Their mission, dictated by the starved and hollow entities attached to their energy field, was to infiltrate your reality, map your strengths, and sabotage your divine blueprint. This was never a conflict between two equal personalities. It was a calculated campaign of surveillance and disruption waged against a sovereign soul by a compromised vessel. You felt their presence long before you could name it. It was the feeling of being observed, even when you were alone. A subtle psychic pressure that made it difficult to think your own thoughts. A persistent hum of interference on your own channel. They studied you with an intensity you mistook for admiration or love. But it was the cold, analytical gaze of a thief casing a temple. They memorized the cadence of your speech, not to understand you but to mimic you in order to deceive others and gain access to your circles. They mirrored your passions, not to share them but to learn how to weaponize them against you, to find the perfect leverage point to create disillusionment. They wanted to know what you loved so they could contaminate it with their cynicism. They wanted to understand your dreams so they could inject doubt into their very foundations. Their questions were not inquiries. They were interrogations disguised as casual conversation. What are you working on? Was a request for targets. How are you feeling? Was a probe for vulnerabilities. They gathered data on your insecurities, your past wounds, your deepest fears, creating a psychological profile to be used for future attacks. This is why their words could cut so deeply. They were not random insults, but precision-guided munitions aimed at the exact coordinates of your vulnerabilities, coordinates you yourself had unknowingly provided. They deployed others as well. These are the flying monkeys, the unwitting or willing informants who would report back to them, feeding them snippets of your life. A casual comment from a friend, a post online, a piece of good news shared in confidence, it all became intelligence for the enemy. You may have noticed this in strange ways. You would make a private decision to change course in your life, and within days the narcissist would make a comment that seemed to mock that very private decision. A clear sign that your energetic field was being monitored, and that their intelligence network was active. The ultimate goal of this espionage was destiny theft. They saw the supernatural favor over your life. They felt the powerful destiny you carry, even if you yourself were not fully aware of it, and they wanted it. They believed that by studying your blueprint, they could replicate it, that they could somehow step into your life and claim the blessings reserved for you. But a forged masterpiece is still a forgery. A stolen key cannot unlock a door that is attuned only to the soul of its rightful owner. Their espionage was destined to fail because they could only ever copy the surface. They could mimic your words, but not your vibration. They could steal your ideas, but not the divine inspiration from which they flowed. They could wear your personality like a mask, but it would never fit. It would hang loose, lifeless, a grotesque parody of the light it was trying to emulate, a chilling, uncanny valley of the soul that left others feeling deeply unsettled and confused in your presence. Now the audit shifts to their intelligence network. In the weeks to come, you will witness their sources of information drying up. The people they used as listening posts will suddenly and inexplicably distance themselves, citing vague reasons like business or a sudden profound change of heart. Their attempts to view your life from afar will be met with digital glitches, social firewalls, and a sudden, impenetrable energetic fog that renders you invisible to their prying eyes. The psychic channels they use to monitor you are being permanently disconnected. You will feel this as a profound quiet in your spirit, a newfound clarity. The static of their surveillance will be gone. And for the first time in a long time, your thoughts will be entirely your own. Their file on you is being corrupted, deleted from the cosmic server. They are being left with only outdated, useless information about a version of you that no longer exists, while you ascend into a future they can no longer track. Chapter 3. The Preservation Protocol. The period of intense suffering you endured was not a sign of divine abandonment. It was the enactment of a preservation protocol. You were not being punished. You were being protected in the only way that could guarantee the purity of your mission. To the outside world, and even to yourself at times, it looked like failure, isolation, and loss. In the higher realms, it was recognized as a strategic and necessary quarantine. You had to be separated from the world, so the world could not contaminate the potent codes you carry. The narcissist was the perfect catalyst for this protocol. Their toxicity was so absolute, their attacks so relentless that they forced you into a state of retreat. They systematically severed your ties to toxic friend groups, compromised family dynamics, and unfulfilling environments. Every bridge they burned for you was in reality a divine demolition of an escape route that would have led you away from your true path. They thought they were shrinking your world. In reality, they were clearing the distractions from your path to greatness. You were being made unpalatable to those who were not meant to accompany you on the next phase of your journey. Your frequency was being raised to a level that was irritating and incomprehensible to lower vibrational beings, forcing them to recoil from your light. Friends suddenly found you too intense or no fun anymore, which was their spirit's way of admitting they could not handle the high voltage of your accelerated transformation. The loneliness was a crucible. In that deafening silence, you were forced to confront yourself, to distinguish your own inner voice from the cacophonous chorus of external programming you had mistakenly internalized as your own. You had to learn to rely on a connection to the divine because all earthly connections had been proven unreliable. This was a mandatory spiritual training exercise in self-sourcing. The pain carved out space within you, creating a vessel deep enough and strong enough to hold the immense blessings that are to come. Without this hollowing out, the coming influx of light and power would have shattered you. Your scars are not blemishes, they are the reinforcement points of your spirit, proof that you can withstand pressures that would turn others to dust. During this preservation protocol, you were being worked on. It was a form of spiritual surgery, removing implants of self-doubt, extracting the energetic parasites of codependency, and healing the ancestral wounds that made you vulnerable to such attacks in the first place. You felt this as periods of intense emotional upheaval, of grieving for things you couldn't even name. You were shedding lifetimes of karmic baggage in a highly compressed period, a rapid and often brutal, yet entirely necessary, purification process. The protocol is now nearing its completion. The evidence of this will be subtle at first, then undeniable. You will find yourself immune to the opinions of others in a way that feels utterly new. The words that once would have sent you into a spiral of anxiety will now feel like meaningless noise, like stones skipping harmlessly off an impenetrable shield. You will look at the very people and situations that the narcissist used to control you, and you will feel nothing but a calm, detached neutrality. This is the sign that the surgery was successful. The triggers have been removed. You are emerging from this divine quarantine not weakened, but refined. You are stronger, purer, and more focused than ever before. The narcissist thought they were isolating you to destroy you. The universe isolated you to preserve you, to protect its most valuable asset until the field was clear for your deployment. The time of preservation is ending. The time of activation is beginning. Chapter 4. The activation of supernatural favor. The divine audit is not merely a process of balancing old debts. It is an activation sequence for your ascension. The energy that was once tied up in defending yourself, in processing the pain, in surviving the constant psychic warfare, is now being liberated. This colossal reserve of reclaimed energy is the fuel for the next stage, the full, undeniable activation of supernatural favor over your life. This favor is not a gentle, passive blessing. It is an active, intelligent, and formidable force. Think of it as a golden, impenetrable energy field that now surrounds you, your projects, your finances, and your relationships. In your mind's eye, see it as a shimmering liquid gold sphere, humming with a low, powerful frequency. It functions as both a shield and a magnet. It repels anything and anyone not aligned with your highest good, and it draws to you with gravitational force the resources, people, and opportunities that are part of your divine blueprint. The narcissist and their agents will be the first to feel its effects. Their attempts to send negative energy your way will now boomerang back to them instantaneously and with amplification. They will think a negative thought about you and stub their toe. They will speak your name with malice while gossiping and find their own plans for the day inexplicably falling apart. They will attempt to undermine you and in doing so accidentally expose their own incompetence. They are now dealing with a karmic feedback loop so swift and direct that they may for the first time be forced to recognize the connection between their actions and their consequences, but this is a minor side effect, the cosmic debris from your ascent. The true purpose of this favor is for you. In the coming days you will witness a series of events that defy logic and probability. An unexpected sum of money will appear from a forgotten source, arriving at the exact moment you need it most. A door you thought was permanently closed will swing wide open with the person on the other side welcoming you enthusiastically, saying something like, "I was just thinking about you." You will be in the right place at the right time to meet a key ally who holds the missing piece to your puzzle. These are not coincidences, they are the tangible manifestations of your activated favor, the universe rearranging itself meticulously around your clarified intent. This favor will also grant you a new kind of vision. You will see the motives of others with startling clarity. The carefully constructed masks people wear will become utterly transparent to you. You will hear the truth beneath their words, feel the intention behind their actions. This is not psychic power for the sake of it. It is a divine navigation system to guide you through a world of deception. You will know instantly who to trust and who to avoid, saving you years of wasted time and energy. This gift is being given to you now because you have proven you will not abuse it. You have passed the test of the heart. To accelerate this activation, your only task is to accept it. Every time one of these synchronicities occurs, acknowledge it, speak it aloud. I accept this favor. I am worthy of this grace. This verbal confirmation strengthens the field, anchoring it more deeply into your physical reality. You are moving from a defensive posture to an offensive one, but your offense is simply to exist in your own magnificent truth, your unapologetic success, your radiant joy, your unshakable peace. These are now your greatest weapons and your most sacred offerings to the world. The narcissist tried to curse your life. Instead, they triggered the protocol that has now unlocked a level of divine support they cannot even comprehend. They have unwittingly initiated your coronation. Chapter 5. The Karmic Reversal. The laws of the universe are as unforgiving as they are impartial. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transferred or transformed. The vast quantity of toxic, parasitic, and destructive energy the narcissist directed at you for so long did not simply vanish. It was collected, catalogued, and held in escrow during the divine audit. Now that escrow account is being closed and the contents are being returned to sender with interest, this is the great karmic reversal. It is not an act of revenge on your part. Your hands are clean. This is the cosmos simply balancing its own books. The process will be an exact mirror of the attacks you endured, a perfect reflection of their own dark artistry. Did they attempt to sabotage your career and finances, creating obstacles and spreading rumors? They will now experience a sudden and inexplicable series of professional and financial setbacks. Projects will collapse. Expected income will fail to materialize. Their reputation, which they so carefully curated by assassinating yours, will begin to crumble under the weight of its own falsehood. Whispers they started about you will be replaced by loud public questions about their own integrity. Did they work to isolate you from your friends and community, poisoning wells of support? They will now find themselves in a profound and bewildering state of loneliness. The sycophants and enablers they surrounded themselves with will begin to fall away, repelled by the stench of failing power and seeking a new host. Their attempts at connection will feel hollow and transactional, and they will be haunted by a feeling of being utterly alone in a crowded room, the very feeling they tried to inflict upon you. Did they attack your physical health and vitality through chronic stress and psychic bombardment, leaving you drained and unwell? Their own life force will begin to drain away. They will feel a constant gnawing fatigue that no amount of sleep can cure. They will be plagued by a series of minor but persistent ailments, the physical manifestation of a spirit that is sick with its own poison. The vibrant energy they stole from you is being reclaimed, leaving them to run on their own meager and polluted reserves. You will be a passive observer to this process. You will not need to lift a finger. You will simply feel a progressive lightening in your own spirit as the energetic burdens you were forced to carry are returned to their point of origin. You will wake up one morning with a sense of peace so deep it feels alien. The silence in your mind a stark contrast to the years of psychic noise. This is the feeling of being free from their energetic entanglement. The prophetic sign you must watch for is this: they will attempt to re-establish contact. When their world begins to crumble, their programming will send them back to their primary source of energy, you. This contact will not be an apology. It will be a test. It will be a Hoover maneuver, an attempt to plug back into your life force. It might come as a fake apology, a nostalgic message, a manufactured crisis designed to elicit your sympathy, or even a sudden pocket dial. Your unresponsiveness, your calm and total indifference, is the final seal on the karmic verdict. It is your non-action that confirms the transfer is complete. Any response, even a negative one, re-establishes a toxic energetic link. Your dignified silence is the ultimate statement of sovereignty. They are on their own now, completely and utterly alone, left to face the nightmarish world they created and the horrifying reflection they can no longer escape. Chapter 6. The Untraceable Blueprint. There is a fundamental reason you were targeted with such relentless and specific malice. The narcissist, or more accurately the parasitic entities controlling them, recognized something within you that terrified and obsessed them, an untraceable blueprint. This is not merely a destiny, it is a unique cosmic architecture, a divine assignment encoded into your very soul that has no precedent. It cannot be copied. It cannot be reverse-engineered, and it cannot be stolen. It is a mission of such high importance that it was intentionally shielded from the Akashic records accessible to lower-dimensional beings. They could feel its power like a blind man can feel the heat of a great fire, but they could not see its design. This is what drove them into a frenzy of espionage and sabotage. They were trying to steal plans they could never read, to replicate a structure they could never comprehend. Everything they attacked was a component of this blueprint. They attacked your voice because your words are coded with frequencies of activation meant to awaken others, but they also attacked your silence because in your silence you receive the divine downloads that give your words their power. They attacked your creativity because your art is a form of divine technology designed to build new realities and dismantle old corrupt systems. They attacked your compassion because your empathy is a superconductor for healing energies that are toxic to their parasitic nature. They attacked your joy because your laughter carries a vibration that shatters their illusions, but they also attacked your sorrow because they sensed that your grief was not a weakness but a potent alchemical process that purifies vast amounts of collective trauma. They failed to understand that every attack on a component of the blueprint only served to reinforce its structure. Every attempt to shatter you only tempered your sovereign spirit into something infinitely more resilient. They were unwittingly participating in the stress testing of a divine creation, proving its unbreakability for the universe's records. Now that the audit is complete and the interference has been cleared, your blueprint is beginning to come online. The vagueness and confusion you once felt about your purpose will evaporate, replaced by a crystalline clarity. Your path forward will not be revealed to you all at once in a grand vision, but in a series of undeniable, perfectly timed next steps. An idea will drop into your mind with such completeness and authority that you know it is not your own. You will feel a sudden magnetic pull toward a place, a person, or a field of study that previously held no interest for you. Follow these pulls without question. They are the illuminated waypoints on the map of your blueprint. You will find that as you take each courageous step forward, the precise resources you need will appear as if by divine magic. The skills you lack, you will learn with supernatural speed. The people you need will cross your path at the precise moment they are required. You are no longer building your life. You are assembling it from a prefabricated, divinely engineered kit. The untraceable blueprint is also your ultimate protection. Because it is unique, no one can tell you how to execute it. This will force you into a state of absolute reliance on your own inner guidance, making you immune to gurus, manipulators, and false prophets. Your mission is yours alone. The narcissist was a gatekeeper, a final test designed to see if you would abandon your unique design in exchange for the approval of the corrupt system they represent. You passed. You held on to the sanctity of your own soul. Now the real work begins. Chapter 7. The Throne of Authority. The divine audit was never just about justice. The preservation protocol was not just about safety. The karmic reversal was not just about balance. These were all preliminary stages, the necessary clearing of a sacred construction site. The final objective has always been this: to seat you upon your rightful throne of authority. This is not a throne of ego or domination in the way the world understands power. It is a metaphysical construct you have built yourself. Its very foundations are the betrayals you endured and sanctified. Its mighty pillars are the countless moments you chose to get back up. It is forged from the raw pain you transmuted into profound wisdom, and it is polished with the tears you shed in your isolation. It is a seat of pure, unshakable, and eternal spiritual sovereignty. It is the position from which you will govern your own reality and fulfill the mandate of your untraceable blueprint. To sit on this throne means you no longer ask for permission. You no longer seek validation. You no longer explain or justify your existence. Your presence becomes its own authority. Your word becomes creative force. Your decisions become law within your own energetic kingdom. Stepping into this authority is your ultimate test. The world, along with the remnants of the old system, will try to challenge your right to sit on this throne. They will call you arrogant for setting boundaries and delusional for speaking your vision. They will attempt to drag you down, using the same tired tactics of shame and doubt, whispering, "Who do you think you are?" But you are no longer on their level. From the vantage point of your throne, their attacks appear pitiful and small, desperate tantrums of a dying paradigm. You will watch them without anger or fear, holding instead a detached, compassionate understanding that their role in your story is complete. This authority will begin to manifest physically in your life. In conversations, people will naturally defer to your judgment. In negotiations, your terms will be accepted with surprising ease. You will radiate an unmistakable energy that says you are not to be trifled with, that you are backed by a power far greater than any earthly force. This is supernatural favor made visible as personal dominion. Your work from this throne is simply to be, to stand as the unshakable anchor of your own frequency, to speak your truth unapologetically, to create without restraint, to love without condition, beginning with yourself. Each moment you remain in this state of sovereign authority, you send a devastating shockwave through the matrix of control. You become a living, powerful example of what is truly possible. The narcissist was merely the final guardian at the gate of this throne room. By withstanding their fire, you proved your worth. By healing from their poison, you forged the antidote. By choosing your light over their darkness, you claimed your crown. The trials are over. The training is complete. The audit is finished. Your reign begins now.